Hi everyone, I'm Sycamore Omega and welcome to a ship review of the Constellation Aquila in Star Citizen 3.0. Now the Constellation Aquila for me is one of the most iconic ships in Star Citizen, and that goes back to one of the ship advertisements that CIG put out when they were marketing Star Citizen a few years ago. And it was the 2001 Space Odyssey themed commercial for the Constellation Aquila that really showed off some of the possibilities of what exploration could kind of look like in Star Citizen and kind of got the community excited about the exploration role inside of the verse. Now, the Constellation Aquila is the first entry in the game that shows the diverse line of RSI constellations. We've had the Constellation Andromeda in the game for quite a while now, and that is the multi-role gunship. We also have the Constellation Taurus that's coming out, which is the shipping and trade version, and then the Phoenix, which is the luxury version, which I think has been in a hangar-ready state for a while, and the Constellation Aquila is the exploration version. And I'm not going to be doing a comparison between it and the other Constellation classes, but the Constellation Aquila does differ from all of the other constellations in that it has a slightly different aesthetic look, and also trades out one of its turret positions for a scanning turret, which we're going to be able to use in that exploration role. Aesthetically, it has a different paint job, all of them do, and it also has a different bridge windshield configuration, which has some pros and cons compared to the Andromeda. But does it do the exploration role well? Well, that's a little bit difficult to answer at this point, because at this point in development, we really can't do any exploration, but we can kind of estimate based off of what we see in the ship now. And I think this is important whenever reviewing a ship in Star Citizen, because the game isn't finished, and things about every ship can change drastically. I think that we buy ships based on the role that we want to do in the game later on, and where do we want to start in that role. If you want to kind of have everything that you can ever think of in an exploration ship, well, maybe a Carrack is kind of the right position for you to be in. Maybe an Endeavor. At this point in the game development, we really can't talk about the functionality of each station in the role that the ship is supposed to fill, but we can talk about, though, what some of our expectations are based on what we see in the ship. So Constellation Andromeda, or Constellation Aquila, is meant to be that medium-sized exploration ship, and I think it's a good introduction to a multi-crew exploration ship. You don't have all the bells and whistles that you might have on a Carrack or something like that, but you can get out there, you can try that role in the verse, see if you like it, and then also it has 96 units of cargo available. So I've used the ship in 3.0 doing some trading, and it seems to work great. It doesn't feel, there's enough cargo space in the ship that it doesn't feel like trading is a waste of time, that I'm only going to get, maybe a couple hundred credits for my time if I pick the right commodity. There's been a couple times where I picked the right commodity and make 1,500 or so credits, and that I'm able to go buy whatever I want to go buy in one of the shops. And it's kind of something that I can do not regularly, but just intermittently, and never have to really worry about credits running out, at least now in alpha. So I think that it's a really great multi-role ship as well. It's not just an exploration ship. Now, like I think I said, the thing that we trade out of the ship for it being an exploration ship is the top turret is no longer a gun turret, but a scanning turret. Now, the scanning turret, we can't really say what the functionality of that turret is going to look like yet, because as of right now, it's just an energy management panel. So we can't really, it's not really a functional turret. But with the Constellation, with how it has 4 cannons and then also the missile racks in it, I didn't really find myself missing that turret too much. Whenever I was going up against any type of pirates or anything like that, I didn't really feel like I was at a disadvantage. I think that the biggest thing to think about with the Constellation Aquila is that you have the missile rack. Use the missile rack to your advantage and then try to finish each target off with your cannons. For maneuverability in the Constellation line, I wasn't able to compare these numbers with the Andromeda, but I split up some of the stats that I found while messing around with the ship in alpha into 3 categories. So I measured the yaw and pitch actions of the ship in open space, and I split it into 3 categories: minimum effort, half effort, and maximum effort. So minimum effort is we're able to keep our maximum normal speed at full while still turning as fast as we could. Half effort is we split that normal speed in half while completing a turn, and maximum effort is we just have the ship pegged over and we're getting whatever speed we can to make that turn. So minimum effort, as far as yaw, I found that the ship would turn roughly 4.7 degrees per second, and minimum pitch, the ship would pitch at 7.4 degrees per second, which gives us turning radiuses for yaw at about 2.3 kilometers and a turning radius in pitch of about 1.5 kilometers. So very wide turning radiuses, but we're maintaining our forward speed. And that can be something that you can use to your advantage. I think that most players are ready for ships to, make these real tight, flipping type turns, and I think that if you kept your forward speed up, you might actually throw somebody off with that. Half effort, I found that the yaw would do 3.4 degrees per second and pitch 15.5 degrees per second, which would give us turning radiuses of, in yaw, 581 meters and pitch 352 meters. So, not a fighter, but definitely still pretty okay. And then maximum effort yaw was 25 degrees per second and a 90 meter turning radius, and pitch 25.3 degrees per second and a 134 meter turning radius. And those turning radiuses are because of speed. With the pitch, you can maintain a faster forward speed, and in yaw, you're going to be turning slower, so you're able to make a little bit tighter turn. Now, I think that this is something that we need to keep in mind if we're ever going to take the Aquila into a fight, is that you can actually turn tighter with yaw, but you're going to be able to turn faster with pitch. And it depends on how much effort you're putting into the controls to be able to accomplish that. And again, in combat, I think the big thing that we need to keep in mind, we have one less turret. So whoever is in the turret, the pilot and the person manning the turret really need to be in communication and be able to roll the ship over if need be to get that turret on target. So it's not something that I really missed, but I think that the Constellation Aquila is still definitely a fighter. Like I said, I didn't, feel like I missed that top turret at any time in any engagements or anything like that. And I think the ship is really fun to fly. I think that with some of the other ships in the game, the Constellation class of ships in general is a ship that you need to stay ahead of And when you're landing on a planet or on a platform, you really need to just kind of think about your approach a little bit more than maybe you would with one of the smaller fighters or something like that. And definitely be cognizant of your altitude when you're coming in for re-entry into planetary flight. I found that if you just come barreling in, you're probably going to crash onto the surface if you haven't brought that throttle back and are planning how you're going to enter that atmospheric flight. But overall, I'm really impressed with the Aquila. I'm really happy that it's going to be in my fleet when Star Citizen is finally finished. I definitely don't feel like I'm going to regret having that there. And I'm excited to be able to play with it more in 3.1 when it comes out. I think that some of the bugs that we've seen on this new ship in 3.0 are going to be taken care of pretty soon. And I would recommend it to anybody who's looking for a good multi-role ship who might be doing some exploring as well. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you next video. I'm Sycamore Omega. Thanks for watching today's video. Are you new to Star Citizen and are looking to get into the verse? Use the code above to get an extra 5,000 UEC added to your account when you sign up. See you again soon!